All right, what I want to do first is do a little background so you guys got a better understanding before I show you this, the set the current feature onto a new application. So what I want to do is, what happens is when I select a feature here, any of the features on this map, and I find out that it does not belong to this, the linked MBO application, it does not belong to this asset, for example, this sample is an asset. Well, then the only thing I can really find out about it is the MBO of that feature in Maximo. But I cannot pick what application he wants open. And how what I show here, I'll navigate to what I'm talking about here. Um, Application designer, and here's application designer. So, for example, for assets, main object for assets, as you can see, actually, let me just do that equal because they wouldn't show all those. As you can see, there's the one that comes out of the box, Maximo, and I cloned one here. And I just want to show you there's two. Another one would be locations. Locations have three apps. So, but I do know something about these three out of the box. Is I know that the storeroom and the issue and transfer doesn't have a map tab. So I'm going to take care of that in a little bit. And for example, another one would be SR, service request, that we also support. Now you can see the service request is also has three apps, but I do know that the view SR and the create SR doesn't have a map tab. So in order to take care of that for me, what I did is in the code later on, I created a database table. And let me go and pick that up here. Go back. The database table, and I'll show you right here. See, I created a database table. It's called exclude maps. And what I did here is I'm going to use this later in the code to not show these. Because this is what I do know when I install my application. But I know there are other IBM applications that clone assets and maybe other application that does have the map tab. So, but all I'm doing here is just listing the ones that out of the box that I definitely know that are that do not have map tabs. So I just wanted to make sure you guys understood that as we move on. So that was one of the issues that I also try to solve is that, okay, the requirement is to pick a feature and go to that application. Well, I have some restrictions on that. I can't make the last final decision for the guy because there might be more than one cloned asset that he may actually have access to, or he may have no access to. So I also take care of that. So I put up an error message saying, I know you want to navigate to that, but you can't because you don't have the rights to it. So now that I give you a little background on that, let me actually show you the the, um, the actual overview. So let's go to assets. I'm going to pick one of the GIS features. I'm going to go to the map. And also one thing I want to explain is that to set the current, there's two places that gets it done. It is in the identify I mean, when you click on here, you can actually navigate to the set current like this one, but I know this one is an asset. And now there's a one also for water mains. Water mains I designated as a location. So so when I click on a set as current, then it'll move to that to the location. I'll show you that in a little bit. But the point is that this is new. This never showed before, the set as current. So before this never popped up. Now it pops up if it's linked to any MBO asset. Yeah, maximal MBOs. So, and of course, not all of them does it. Like if there is no link, they don't show. Like for example, this one, water fitting, because they don't have any. And another place that that this is done is I found is in the results table too. See in here, you can actually, this little guy here is the set as current. So I had to make sure that two codes were set for those two to do this. So I'm in assets right now. I click on locations. When I click the set as current, a pop-up message will pop up. I wrote this in here. You know, you guys think if you can uh, get something else better in here, that's fine. But all I say is the feature selector requires to be navigated to another maximal application. Would you like to continue? And if they say no, they just click no and they're back to where they're at. But if they go and click again and they say yes, now, like remember in locations, I showed you that there were a few applications that were available. And I told you in the code, I already stored the ones that I do know that don't have map tabs in the database. So what this will do, he'll come up, there's only one. So he'll just navigate directly to it. So when I click yes, he already knows what application is because he only has one left. So boom, he goes. So that's really the whole overview. Now the next one would be if I want to go back to the asset. So if I click here and come over here and let's go. I think that's a water system file. Yeah, that's an asset here. So I'm going to click it from here this time. Now, if you recall, when I went into the app designer, I cloned one of the assets. So when I click to set this current, I really don't know what app he wants to navigate to. So I give him that option. So again, this message come up to make sure he wants to go to it. And you press yes. Now there's a select app here. I say select an application to move to. I guess we could reword that a little bit, but you guys can help me there. And so he gets to pick. He has to pick because I don't know which application he wants to move to with the map tab. So maybe he wants to go to his cloned. And so he goes to the cloned application here. And there it goes. So that's the second scenario. The next scenario is what I want to show you is one where I'm going to log in as somebody else. There's Smith. And what I did for Smith is he's in a security group called maintenance, and what I did when I went into the security group, I told them that he did not have access to asset. I know this says assets here, but in here you see there is no assets, but there is locations. So if he's allowed to go to locations, was that me? Are you guys still there? I hope that's not.
I'm still here. I'm here.
Still there.
Cool. Thanks. So if I go to GIS here and pick one of these guys, go to apps. All right, pick an identity here, pick something here, go add results. I always like that one better because I don't have to go through each one of those things. And select one, and okay, you see how this one says asset? He's linked to asset, this feature, right? So he says, okay, I want to navigate to that, but we know that he don't have permissions to do that. So when he tries to do it, first it'll come up and ask him, click on this guy. Well, I think there's some bug here for me. I'm sorry about that. Oh, you know what? I know why. Sorry, give me a second. I gotta put in debug mode. Equals 1. Sorry about that. because the JS file, the JavaScript file, is not compiled into a zip file. So I'm actually reading it from a floating file, single file. So just just an explanation there why that didn't work. But it should work now. Get to results. Okay, nope, didn't give me crap. Do it again. Put a little bigger here. Add to results. All right, I got an asset. Cool. Okay. So again, I was trying to explain before. I see how this is asset here. So, but I don't have permission for it. So when I click it, this message still comes up, whether he still wants to go forward with it. Maybe he says, "Oh, I don't want to do that." But if he does say yes, a system message comes up, and it says you do not have authorization for the asset application. So that's the third scenario, and that's all I could think of right now. So I mean, if you guys think of some other way of stuff, but that is basically what I've implemented this. So that is it. Any questions from anybody? Now remember, it was done in the results and it was done in the identify.
So these are the other two scenarios, right? From the
Three.
identify dialog, from the results,
Oh,
and the other one is when you do not have authorization to the app, right?
yeah, and if you have more than one app that's cloned, a certain select window. Did you see that? Who's that? Who's that?
Is the database table, right?
I'm sorry. Who's speaking? Joao or?
Well, yes.
Oh,
João.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes. There was three of them. One scenario is if there's only one application that he belongs to, that MBO that he selected, he's allowed to go to that one application which has a map tab. He'll go directly there without any tables or anything coming up, except for that one message that's saying you're sure. The second scenario is if someone cloned asset and the ability to go either one. Well, before he goes to that he has to pick one application because I don't know which one he wants to navigate to.
Okay.
You want me to show you that real quick? Did you see that
Yep.
before?
Nope.
Oh, you didn't see it? Okay, let me do it real quick. We log out. And then the third scenario is you're not allowed to, like you just saw just now. Go to assets here. GIS. And debug equals 1. Leave. Okay, come in here. First I'll go to locations real quick. Any location here. Run to it. He's going to see how it says continue. Yes. Since I already know there's only one location, I'll just go directly to it. Now going for the assets directions, I know I cloned one.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go back. All right, let me do a little bit further out. More in. Put a little bit further. That's good enough for me. Okay, add to results. Okay, you see there's asset here. See, the only thing I
Mm-hmm.
know about it is that his MBO this feature is linked to an MBO called asset, but I don't know what application he wants to use. So when I select him and I say, okay, I do want to navigate to him. Yes, I do want to go there. Another box comes up because I don't know
Mm-hmm.
which one he wants to go to. I just don't know. I mean, he's allowed both of them, and they both have map tabs. Assumingly, hopefully they are because it's cloned that he can choose either one. And maybe he might have this person, they might have a whole bunch of different cloned ones, and maybe certain things are seen by certain people or make it less confusing. They only put a first few things on there. I don't know, whatever reason it is.
Cool.
So they might have the first asset. He might not be allowed to go to this app, but he might be allowed to go to the cloned asset. And if that was the case, it would have went directly to there. But since that's not the case, he
Mm-hmm.
gets to choose. So choose the cloned asset. So I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure, that everyone knew that on the phone that, you know, in case they do testing and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
stuff. And that's it. So I don't know if you've seen it before, but I was showing them that in the database. Well, let me go back to, because I'm not sure when you popped in, but I'm sure it's a nice repeat for everyone. You see the main object here in applications? When I type asset, equal assets, should I say? See, I have the original and my cloned, right? So when I did locations, remember he went directly to it. But as you can see, there's three applications he belongs to. But I know for a fact that the issue and transfer in the storerooms do not have a map tab. And so does SR and then the service request here. Here, I know for a fact that the view SR and the create SR does not have a map tab. So what I did is in the database here, I created let me put that here, put that up. In the database here is that I created an exclude map apps, and that's where in the code I knew not to bring up that table because I knew that those didn't have map tabs in it. So, and like the locations, the SR, the work order has a whole bunch that I excluded here, as you can see. And the assets and the service address, they only bring up one. So as you, because they're, out of the box I'm talking about, and the service address, I think yeah, service address, there's only one. It's called SRVAD. So that's why there's nothing in it for that one. So, and if in the future, if they want to, or we want to bring that exclude thing out, or if you think there's a better
Mm-hmm.
way of doing it than what I did, that's fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I decided to do it.
Yeah,
So,
that's fine. That's fine. I think that's a good approach for now. We not sure if we even need to enhance that in the future.